Hello everybody and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting the Elite Pass Randomizer All Dungeons Key Sanity Tournament 2022. We got game 1 of round 1 for you today. It's matt7898 versus Jet082. Commentating, of course, we have Clear Mouse and Tracy M, and tracking is Iker and Lady Laura Linda. Say hello everybody.
Hello. Hey Tracy.
Hey Clear Mouse. Going good?
Yeah, are you excited for tonight?
Have
you heard of these two guys before?
No, never.
No, okay, alright, yeah, I figured a couple of these newbie racers, very pleasantly, we're fortunate to be able to feature them here on ZSR. And yeah, of course, Matt and Jet, quite veterans of, I would say, the Link to the Past randomizer scene. Good, actually, amount, probably also in the vanilla games as well. I know that Jet does a lot of, Super Metroid stuff as well, is that right?
Yeah, he does a little bit of the SMC3. Not so much lately.
Okay.
I do believe we have a couple of former tournament winners too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Speaking of titles, so I believe so Jet is a main tournament winner. I believe that was what, 2020, I want to say.
2019,
yeah.
Technically 2019, but the actual race was in 2020.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He's multiple main tournament. I think he also does have a. Oh yeah, that's right. And he has I think he has a league a season winner as well. So he's pretty accomplished. Matt, of course, is no slouch himself, and I will say that this mode, game 1, is open all dungeons key sanity with starting boots. Matt, of course, won SGL 2021 last year, which was all casual boots. So this is Matt's choice. I believe that he feels that boots will hopefully give him maybe a little bit of an edge over Jets.
Yeah, and to be clear, it was the runners deciding that they would each choose a mode. My understanding is they can choose boots or not boots, and they can choose inverted or not inverted. Pick one of each.
Yeah, and I think there's also a standard start for AD keys as well.
Okay.
But this is the only one at least that only starts with boots. So quite excited. AD keys of course means that all dungeons means we are going to fight every single dungeon in the light world. We're going to go beat Magnum 1, we're going to go defeat Ganon's tower, and all before we can all go and kill Ganon himself.
And we hope that we are not searching for castle tower keys at the end of the game, because that is worse than the ice rod hunt. If there are 216 locations and 215 of them can have a castle tower key. So.
That you are actually exactly correct, including probably one of the worst spots potentially is the first treasure chest of Castle Tower. You really don't want to go find it. It's basically one of the vanilla locations. This should be quite rough. Ooh, okay, it looks like we are already getting started. Sanctuary star for both. Nice early bombs.
It's like the one time you really want to see bombs. Now you just don't have to worry about it.
That's right, yeah.
Later in the game, no more bombs. But right now, yeah, absolutely want to see them.
Yeah. Early resources, money, even some arrows, potentially could be pretty useful later. I mean, not immediately, right? We're still looking for a bow.
If we get a bow, yeah. Oh, nice. Nice to get a sword already.
Gosh. That is what, check 2, basically? What's better than just starting boots? Starting boots basically with the sword. You don't have to pause your dashes. Those green guards now basically don't stand a single chance against these guys.
But we do get a little bit of divergence. Looks like Jet's gonna do a lumberjack check to see if an early Aga play might be in order. Matt's gonna go into the Lost Woods and check that area. We'll get a couple of tree pulls. 5 rupees, not the best, but that'll get you closer to be able to afford everything in Kakariko. And a second sword!
Oh my gosh! Alright, well, so if this were a all dungeons key sanity, we might actually be thinking, is Agnum potentially in the picture already? We already got starting Master Sword, basically. But as you said, we are gonna have to find those very pesky Castle Tower keys, potentially, to go beat Agnum. I didn't actually quite see what was on the lumberjack. I don't know if you ended up catching it.
It was bombs.
It
was just bombs.
Alright, so definitely not gonna be useful.
Getting those. Actually, the bombs is one of the most annoying things. Like, if you had bombs, it's fine. But I've definitely had situations where it's like, oh hey, bombs, I really need those, but I can't get them. And by the time I could get them, it won't matter, and I won't need them.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
They're just teasing you.
Right, so we'll skip.
Yeah, Matt having skipped lumberjack will be the first into Kakariko.
Yeah, and it looks like, yeah, especially early on, you mentioned, right, basically any amount of kind of resources, even including heart pieces, might actually be worthwhile just because, you know, you never really kind of know when you're going to end up, you know, potentially diving into a, you know, a pretty dangerous dungeon. A little bit of extra health certainly wouldn't hurt.
Bombs
Speaking
are just
of
not
bombs,
an issue. No,
okay, so
hammer
yeah.
and well, those bombs weren't so nice, but I mean, they're nice, but we don't really need them at this point. Flippers and a hammer, though.
Yeah,
sadly, as often happens, we get flippers and have no money for Zora.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's actually a really good point. Yes. So, you know, normally, you know, the people can do, you know, early hula. I see that actually pretty often in cross keys, but yeah, with those flippers, you're gonna have to be a little bit more creative, especially without any gloves right now to
yeah,
to
there
is do like the back of escape.
There is a boot setup if they really want to do a hula hand play. My guess is we just won't see Zora for a while, and maybe, you know, we might not see that whole area, because you don't want to have to do that separately.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we still have lots of Kakariko to explore, right? We could end up just hitting the jackpot, you know, figuratively and literally speaking. You know, maybe get a couple of 300s. Do we see a big
a GT big key? Don't have to search for the GT big key. That's always a nice feeling.
Yeah, and especially, you know, for 80 keys, it's very possible, right, that depending what your pendant dungeons are, you might have to go kind of searching for, you know, what potentially in GT. You know, this potentially, you know, we might be able to go mode, given that we already have a big key. Matt looks like he's actually going to dive back into the well, farm out a little bit of bottle vendor.
He really wants to make sure he gets that bottle vendor. I don't blame him. It's an annoying thing to come back for. I personally run into this a lot in SMG3, and I usually just come back later, hopefully with a flute or something. Big Key to Hera is an interesting one because that one can be hard required depending on where the hook shot is, or it could be a completely useless key because you'll just Hera pot and not actually worry about what's in the big chest. But the nice thing is you don't have to leave it behind when you go there, and you'll get the item. Exactly. You don't have to have it weighing on your mind. So there's definitely a plus to it.
Yes, I mean, given that this is 80 keys, we're kind of, you know, here for the long haul, right? Early, you know, mental damage, potentially, you know, this, that big key actually could mitigate some of it, right? Gonna be able to, you know, let you play the rest of the scene a little bit more comfortably.
Oh, hey, you know, we would have had boots early, too.
You know, forget this starting boots option. I'm just gonna find them in Kakariko. You know, I don't know if I feel a little bit
I mean, to be fair, it's not how that works. It just gets put somewhere, but it's not logical. But it's always funny when you see it early, when you have the starting boots.
Yeah. Alright, so Matt, even though he only has 20 rupees to his name, not gonna bother with getting the extra 20 on library. Very understandable.
He'll get plenty of money.
As well. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Jet's basically just he's just following suit, you know, and really the only real difference. Oh, speaking of money, never mind.
That's money.
House. Yep, that is our.
It's gonna be tantalizingly close to Zora money.
Oh man, you know, well, so we have the dam. You know, we've got mini Molder Cave, potentially even have Ice Rod Cave. You know, assuming they do set up like a more or less traditional, you know, waterfall fairy check with water walking, got a little bit more options.
A glove?
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
okay,
it looks like
so
I mean, it's not quite Dark World Axis, we still need a Moon Pearl, but it does mean we're probably not going to be killing Aga early. Probably doing that late.
Yeah.
Of course, we still need 2 Castle Tower Smalls, so that's not even really an issue, but...
Yeah, I was actually even thinking potentially that glove actually does open up like the 20 rupee and the 50 rupee caves if they really do want to farm up Zora money. Oh, Matt, not even. Okay. All right, we got good diversions. Yeah. All right, so between our 2 runners, we have Dark World access.
I feel like Jet's gonna get to the glove at South Shore at the dam a little bit sooner than Matt may be getting to that Moon Pearl, but you know it is early. He's gonna get gated to it soon enough.
Yeah, and of course, maybe one of the reasons potentially why Matt is, or you know, brothers in general want to try and put off at least the castle is, you know, so we can maybe find, you know, lower chance, but find one of those castle tower keys, right? We could potentially, you know, get in there, especially now with the Master Sword, right? Basically, it's a very, you know, saves you a trip basically up to the castle.
Yeah, and it's also kind of interesting because we see Jet going to do the front of escape. Now, this can be a little bit of a risk because you could take that key and go to the back. Or you can go down. So this is actually for him not in logic because he doesn't have that glove to do the back. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I think in Key Sandy you actually have to have the key regardless, because you could just use it wrong. You can just use it wrong and just not be able to get to all the items, and that's how key logic works. If there's a way you can use it wrong, then it's not in logic.
Yeah, it's really guarding against, I guess, your potential mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah, and also, yeah, so Jet also did pick up, it looks like actually our first bottle in Escape. It had a fairy inside, but it looks like Jet is actually planning on death warp because he released that fairy almost immediately.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope if he gets a mirror here, I'll laugh. But
Yeah. Alright, it looks like he's setting up the water walk coming out of Ice Rod Cave. Nothing. It was a compass on the ledge, so chances are we're basically never gonna find out which compass that dungeon is to.
I mean, I like compasses more than most people, but really, you're not gonna ever go out of your way for a compass. That's just a heart container there at the Zelda cell. So Jet gonna take that death warp.
Yeah, and of course, this being this early, I mean, death warping, even with, some, in this case, what looks like blue mail, thanks to our awesome trackers, basically, keeping up with all of the items so far that these runners have picked up. Certainly not going to be too big of a deal.
Yeah, fun fact is, the green guard does half a heart of damage no matter what mail you're wearing, which is convenient when you go down there with red mail.
oh yeah. Typically, you maybe try and you'll take some extra damage off like the ball and chain guard. Yeah, the ball and chain guard on red mail does less damage than the green guard.
It's crazy. We got a Cane of Samaria in the back of Escape. A really nice item to have early, but doesn't do anything for us right now.
Yeah. Of course, does with Shirley we are quite a ways off also from Ice Palace, but having that cane sooner rather than later certainly going to make Ice Palace maybe a little bit more tantalizing, just because you can't Icebreaker. Certainly going to save you a good chunk of time.
Okay, I was wrong. Matt's going to go straight for the uncle. Going to get that Moon Pearl. Jet looks like he's probably going to go do South Shore. So our runners will both have their Dark World access pretty soon. The question is, does Matt do the escape at all? I would expect Jet to at least get to Mini Moldorm Cave. Maybe not do Ice Rod Cave, because you could fit that in using the flute later. Because they're gonna be able to just go into the Dark World and just start doing Dark World things, and they've got a pretty good loadout with the hammer. They can do Thieves Town pretty easily, at least the front of. We can do, we can look around in the area. We can do Hype Cave. So there's a lot of things we can do in the Dark World. And right now, I think what's left in the Light World, pretty much Eastern Palace. They could break to the mountain, but at the moment, there's like 2 checks they can do.
That's
no
right.
mirror, no hook shot. So.
And speaking of, like the Light World options that you've actually listed, although they are a bit sparse, going into Dark World with looks like maybe 3 or 5 hearts, isn't maybe necessarily the most,
they got their blue mail. I mean, if they had a bow, I would expect Eastern, but they don't have a bow, so I expect to see some Dark World pretty soon.
Yeah, and of course, they, these are very, very capable runners. I'm sure if they even make this like expert item pool, I'm sure they'd be, more than comfortable, basically.
There's a Death Warp from Matt in Dark Cross, because he decided to do that first.
Yeah, actually, I guess this is actually going to be maybe a very, slight difference, because, we did see Jet going to the back of the escape first, picking up that bottle. Unfortunately, he had to give it up with the fairy. Matt's going to be able to have a fairy just in case he needs it.
Yeah, that'll be a nice little safety until he wants a Death Warp later and forgets about it, because that's what happens to me.
Right. That's right. You finally pick this up, and you know what? You go into Thieves Town or wherever, and then you know what? You want to get out of the front door, and well, there goes your fairy.
Yeah, their Jet is already in the Dark World. Gonna see Hype Cave at the very least, and we'll see where he goes next.
Yeah, certainly understandable. With only a glove and hammer, no myths. This is arguably one of the most convenient Dark World locations. You can certainly go into like the Kakariko portal one, but you definitely have to take the long way around.
Our first Turtle Rock small key, a big key to Turtle Rock,
and a big key to Turtle Rock. Another
and
Turtle Rock
small key to Desert. And a big key to Thieves Town. Wow, that is a key Hype Cave.
Yeah.
4 or 5 keys.
Yeah,
and all good ones
too. We also
too.
did pick up a small key. Yeah, I think we also did pick up a small key to Thieves Town in Mini Moldorm Cave, I want to say. So, I mean...
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, maybe this is exactly where, you know, Jet wants to get
That
out
is
to next.
that is a full clearable Thieves Town. Unless Jet gets mitts, he's not going to be able to do that from here, but that's okay. He'll do Stumpy and he'll do the dig game and then probably save and quit to Sanctuary, and I would expect him going to Thieves Town pretty quickly.
Yeah, and this like normal route, from like Hype Cave to Stumpy to dig game, I think is very standard. And basically you're just trying to find, you know, like something before you kind of go on to like the next part of the Dark World.
Matt's going to give us a little bit of extra checks here. He's going to do the first check in Castle Tower.
Yeah, I think Iker, one of our awesome trackers for tonight, did point out that Jet actually could have interrupted with this, but looks like he at least opted not to. So if there's something in here, could be actually, you know, an early advantage for Matt.
Doing a standard NMG strat.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jet is digging up quite the storm, still waiting for this prize, which is
a Castle Tower spot. Okay, so that's really interesting because Jet's gonna have more incentive to go do that check now because he's got the small key. Matt though gets a fire rod out of it, which means he'll be able to do Skull Woods, except the big chest. Since the big key is only blocking the big chest in Skull Woods.
Yeah.
The original game designer is expecting you to have a fire rod to get to the back, and that's you have to have a big key to get that fire rod normally. Little did they know that you know 30 years later we'd be playing this randomized version.
Little did they know 30 years later we're gonna be able to have basically this randomizer here that's actually, you know, taking up quite a lot of people by storm. Oh yeah, that's right. Jet reminding us that he did pick up a bottle, another Turtle Rock small key. Actually, that was quite the dual pickup for both the runners.
Yeah, I mean, you'll need to finish Turtle Rock. You'll need 3 small keys, but then you'd have to skip the lava chest. That's always an interesting decision point in an AD key situation. Ideally, you want all 4. Obviously, logically, you need all 4 at least to get to Trinex and to do the lava chest.
Yeah, and of course, you know, with 3 of them, and as you said, right, we can basically full clear everything. Okay, Matt's. I was like,
we're gonna find out. Yeah, I actually okay, maybe he just wanted to buy the bombs anyway, but I actually find it less useful in a all dungeon situation to find out what the red crystals are. Just when when I look at my map or my menu and I see 2 red crystals, I know I can go get the big bomb.
Yeah. So,
but I think you wanted to buy bombs anyway, so you might as well talk to the guy.
Okay, you know, and that's actually pretty fair. And you know, we are kind of teetering on, I won't necessarily say the cusp of Zora money, but you know, that probably with all of his options, especially after Hype Cave, fully clearable Thieves Town, he has a fire rod from the first house of Castle Tower, right? You mentioned Skull Woods, Thieves Town, basically 2 clearable dungeons already. Zora's probably not on the forefront of his mind.
No, not right now. But yeah, Jet, unfortunately, not having that fire rod is going to full clear the front of Skull Woods and is not going to get that fire rod and be able to finish it anytime. So he's going to steal this key so he can do the front.
Yeah. I mean, this is very reasonable in this case, and you know, oh, and look at that, really nice timing to be able to basically take the Wall Master back all the way to the beginning.
Master's nice that way.
Yeah. Alright, Matt probably just gonna follow basically exactly what Jet did with check Stumpy, dig game, Hype Cave. Matt's probably gonna go basically straight to the village in this case, and well, in this case, follow Jet's footsteps probably to a point, but most likely with that fire rod, as you said, right, we're just gonna go to the back and maybe take a peek at, you know, defeating Mopula. Yeah,
I think if I were Matt, I would do the Village Valcast first and do Thieves Town first and work my way up. Like a sword upgrade is going to mean more in Skull Woods against Mopula than it is going to mean in Thieves Town.
And maybe another, you know, heart container or 2 certainly wouldn't hurt, you know.
Yeah, all those things I think are more useful. Like there are more things that can help him do Skull Woods better than there are things that can help him do Thieves Town better. And it looks like I wasn't sure about this. I know it's true in cross keys. I wasn't sure in AD keys if the pinball key was always going to be a small key. It looks like it is in this seed.
I actually did not have confirmation on that either. But I'm glad that in this case, I guess it was a small.
It was this case. I don't know if it was. I don't know if that was just a coincidence or if the rudders lucked out. But I actually, my opinion is that in a key sandy situation, I actually think it should always be a small key to that dungeon in that spot, so that the drop down doesn't just completely screw you over.
Yeah, it doesn't like soft block you.
Yep. But in regular modes, it's fine to do it the other way.
Yeah, because I mean, you always basically have the rest of your keys like kind of like right around you, right?
Yep.
But yeah, in key sanity, the hunting for a skull with small keys, not necessarily the best thing in the world.
Okay, we're in Village of Outcasts all at the same time.
Yep, just basically taking a slight northern route, and Matt is checking brewery. So nothing really of note so far. I think Jet did also check Bumper Ledge, which is only 3 bombs again, so the cave certainly would be a nice safety, but certainly not going to be logically required. Maybe unless there's something that forces Spike Cave, but certainly not going to be required, at least in this area.
Yeah, I mean, Spike Cave has other ways to get through it between Blue Cane and various, 12 hearts or bottles and... Sorry, 14 hearts is what you need to get through it without any kind of extra. And a lamp.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, so this is going to be pretty nice. No dark rooms for either of our two runners today. We are, everybody, Matt, Jet, and everyone who's watching is going to be able to see every single room. Actually, I don't even think we've done any. Oh, no, we did Dark Cross without the lamp.
Yep, we did Dark Cross. And you know, Dark Cross is one of those rooms that you try to do when you're up there anyway, because you don't want to leave it behind. In general, a lot of times sequence breaking is more about you don't want to have to come back to do the thing that you're right by. So Dark Cross being being a real good example for that. You don't want to have to go back to the castle just to do Dark Cross.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and of course, alright, so we did pick up the map to Ice Palace. Matt, of course, already talked to the bomb guy. I already found out in this case that it is, of course, a useless map, but Jet will be at least pleasantly surprised to learn when he never does a map check that it's going to be a 5/6 crystal.
Yeah,
and I think actually maps, after this, right?
Yeah, maps, unfortunately, in AD keys, they just lose their value compared to a non-alt dungeon situation. But again, I think the most important things is to knowing your pendants is useful because pet is just an extra check. So if you know that your pendants are, X, Y, and Z, and you have access to them, then you can just do the ped check when it makes sense. And knowing your green pendant and knowing your red crystals. Other than that, it's really not that big a deal. Of course, the scary part about AD keys and really any alt dungeons is that you can get your progression in GT. Your big keys, your ice rods, your Meyer and TR medallions.
Yeah, so I guess we're actually really hoping in this case that Turtle Rock is potentially going to be a. Oh my gosh, Jet, please be careful. We don't have any fairies left. We already kind of gave them up after an escape or wherever. We had to give them up so we could death morph.
I mean, if you can just get to the maiden cell room, you got several heart pots there, so you should be fine.
Yep.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, that was a really nice slash by Chef.
Yep.
Using those iframes basically whenever you end up slashing an enemy to make sure that he doesn't actually take damage. Yeah, so Jet is almost there. Matt, of course, comfortably basically flying through. You can actually see basically there's a little bit of difference. It's just that, Jet knows he's on, one-hit KO mode. Matt, though, he knows he can take a hit or two. Basically, the playstyle, right, the comfort level for the runners, you can tell it's, very, I would say, like, high comfort on Matt's side versus just a little bit more conservative, trying to be a bit more cautious on Jet's side.
Yeah, I'd be using boomerangs to pick up at least one of those hearts to try and get the extra little refill. It's like, what, a 10th of a chance? Maybe it's a 20th, I forget. It's like a small chance, but it's definitely useful.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Anything that could basically save you from death, I think is probably worth the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Alright, looks like though that small key to Thieves Town unfortunately didn't really yield anything other than 1 rupee. Somehow though, we ended up finding, well, at least Jet is over Zora money. Matt is basically getting at least a little bit closer. And hopefully Blind in this case is going to have something good for us other than, of course, a 5/6 crystal.
Now, if they can just say on script, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is, as everybody knows, a scripted fight.
Yeah, and I'm sure at this point, both Matt and Jet probably combined have fought Blind, I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands of times. It's
also,
quite high.
Blue Mail will help out a lot if anything goes wrong.
Yep. Alright, another map too. Oh, Turtle Rock. Okay, this could be potentially good knowledge. I don't know if Matt is interested in doing a map check or Jet. Picked up a couple maps though along the way. Yeah, looks like Matt though did get a little bit off script, but you know, more than enough health basically to tank it. So, you know, we're on to our next clearable crystal dungeon.
In general, as long as you stay on script for the first, you know, into the second round, usually it's pretty easy to clean up, even if you mess it up. If you get off script in the first round, then yeah, good luck.
And of course, you know, if you end up, you know, unfortunately having a mishap and end up dying to blind, the refight is significantly more challenging.
Yeah, because
you have
it doesn't start off the same way, and I mean, you can go grab, if you're really in trouble, you can grab the main and restart the fight in the same way, but nobody wants to do that. It's just too slow and long, and not happening. And we're gonna see Matt go and finish Skull Woods, whereas let's see what Jet decides to do.
There's another going to be, I would say, a fairly minor difference. You know, so Jet checked the vanilla Biki chest in Skull Woods, did not go to the back of Escape as he's doing right now, does not have the Cane of Samaria, whereas Matt, you can already see quick swapped over to the item. It's going to be just a little bit faster in this room.
Yeah, Cane of Samaria is so nice for this room.
Yes. Matt is eerily talented, surprisingly, like at this room without the Cane of Samaria, but still, I think you're always probably gonna choose to use it if you have it.
I mean, it is in NMG style runs. It is one of those rooms that is definitely a candidate for the Link to the Past Force room in the game. So, it's just, you know, if you can do it well, you're in good shape. But it's nice to have that cane to just make it that much easier.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's see, where is... Oh, Jet's gonna do some of these flipper checks, I think.
Oh, right, yeah, we picked up flippers. One of the earliest checks that we ended up finding in Blind's hut, along with that hammer. So, but yeah, with enough money in this case, looks like Jet is going to check Hobo, most likely going to swim past, or at least swim back basically Zora, and then give us like waterfall checks and see what there is.
we saw Matt do this. I don't think he went all the way to Zora, so that'll be new checks for us.
Yeah, correct. Alright, you can see that Matt looks like he is even losing his sword beams, intentionally or not, I'm not sure, but he is definitely just not want. Okay. I guess the wall master's also not gonna come down.
It's kind of a good news, bad news with sword beams on Moth. They do damage, but they don't do a lot of damage. They do fighter sword damage. Moth being one of only 2 bosses that can take damage to fighter sword and or sword beams, the other being blind. The spins will be a lot better. He's got the hammer ready to go if he needs it, but he's very nice fight. I mean, that's low health.
Matt did very nicely.
I mean, he has that blue mail, but 5 hearts is still not a lot, and everything does 1 heart of damage, so very nice.
Those spikes don't care what mail, just like that green guard in this game. Yep. Right? They don't much care. In this case, it's actually 1 whole heart.
Oh, and there's our first of many pod small keys over in the Waterfall Ferry for Jet.
Alright, the Waterfall Fairy also being pretty generous in this case, giving us a fairy that, Jet has certainly not needed. Might have been a little bit nice peace of mind in this case.
Now without the mirror. Give me those fairies after I have mirror. There's a 50 rupee sitting there on the ledge that we're not going to get, but, you know, if we'd been close, it would have been... Actually, I always hate seeing that when you farm up for Zora money, and then you could have just gotten it there, but it is slow, so we're just never gonna pick those up.
Yeah. Matt looks like he is going to take a death warp out of the back.
Oh, baby! My favorite item, the hook shot.
Alright, so that is actually, you know, with the lamp, right? With the glove. Now with the hook shot, Jet has
I think we're going that way.
Options. Yep, Yeah, starting a sanctuary, very telling that most likely this is exactly where he's going to go.
And it's even in logic because we have a lamp.
That's right. Amazing.
I would do this without a lamp, but you know, imagine doing it in logic.
Oh yeah, thank you, Thieves Town, for giving us actual, you know, actually like letting us read the logic and following it. It's gonna get a little bit bullied here by the crows, unfortunately.
And then we get the bush crab with the heart refill, so no problems.
Yeah. All right. So while this is just gonna rescue the old man, Matt's gonna looks like he's gonna finish up Skull Woods, at least like front of it. Yeah. Again, no big key, so we can't actually end up getting what is inside that big chest. So hopefully it's not gonna be important. At least at this point for Matt, right? If he ends up getting Skull Woods' big key, it is somewhat isolated, right? Maybe he'll go back and we'll check like pedestal, but because he's already cleared out Skull Woods, beating the boss, right? This is probably not gonna be kind of like an area that he wants to come back to.
It's definitely one of my least favorite big. Probably, it's probably my least favorite big key, and like it just doesn't do anything for you, and it's so out of the way to come back.
Big key, though?
Ice Palace at least is a logical big key. Swamp would be
okay. That's fair.
Tender.
yeah, that's also true. Yeah. That's one actually nice thing about cross keys, right? For entrance is that if you have to go back to the Swamp Palace big key, big chest, potentially it's in a place right where you maybe could just enter, but here no, you got to go through the whole like drain the dam, go to the dark world, mirror out. Oh man, it's quite a journey.
Okay, we're gonna see what's over here in Paradox Cave. 7 items.
Yeah. So at this point, actually, we've actually gone for almost half an hour. Matt has cleared out 2 crystal dungeons. Jet's still missing that fire rod from the first chest of Castle Tower. Can't do Skull Woods. Where are our mitts?
They could be right over here somewhere. I do expect to see Hera cleared. We have, not full clear. We don't have the small key. The worst small key in the game, by the way. So maybe Thieves Town. Those 2 would be your contenders. And as always, it means, if you have them beforehand, they're great. Although, no, I take it back. Tower Hera is worse. You still don't want to do it even if you have it beforehand.
Yeah.
Or Thieves Town, if you have it beforehand, you're just going to do it. But, there's that small key.
Oh, speaking
so we can full clear. We can full clear Hera. And just never have to worry about it again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that lamp, right? That you mentioned earlier that we picked up in Thieves Town, does put, of course, the mountain in logic. That is actually a very necessary fire source for Jet.
Jet doesn't have that fire rod yet.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So at least in this case, I don't know if he's like quote unquote like bailed out or anything, but at least he is, as you said, going to be able to fully clear out Hera if he so chooses.
Now the interesting part is when Jet finally goes to Castle Tower, he's going to be able to check both the first and second chest.
Yep.
Now, if there's something in that second chest, the advantage that Matt has with the fire rod right now swings back to Jet because it's going to be a while before Matt goes back into the Castle Tower.
Yeah, and oh man, can you imagine if the actual like second Castle Tower small key is in Castle Tower? That would be
don't do that.
You're right. It's too early.
Don't do that game.
We're hoping. Yeah, we're definitely hoping for very comfy, very breezy sea for our runners. We're all here to have a good time. Looks like actually Jet.
Choosing not the Hera pot.
It's
not. I mean, if you're full clear in the dungeon, the time save is not nearly as much. And if you're not confident that you're going to get it first try, I can definitely see doing it just the old-fashioned way. Whereas if it's go mode, the difference is like pretty significant, and you're probably just going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
And a book. Actually, it's not a bad time to find a book because we're right near Ether Tablet.
Yeah, that's right. It would be actually quite nice in this case if we can find a mirror, hopefully, sooner. So again, another thing, is that when Jet goes back to finish up Skull Woods and Mothula, if we do happen to have that mirror, we're going to be able to make a pedestal check pretty efficiently, whereas Matt, if he wants to do it, it's not going to be basically as efficient.
Okay, so Jet is going to have to, he did the extra slash because you don't want the enraged Moldorm. Now he'll switch to spins. There we go.
Alright, looks like we didn't actually end up picking up a map. Ooh, what do we have here? Small key to Meyer. Okay.
Small key to Meyer, which is only interesting in terms of the logic going to the right side. The small key is completely not necessary to actually doing anything in Misery Mire.
Yeah, it probably does save you a couple screen transitions for for Meyer routing. One is always kind of nice to see, but yeah, as you said,
that first key, the typical Meyer route in a key sandy mode is that you're gonna do the left side first, and so having that small key is useful in that sense. Oh, our second pod small.
Looks like actually maybe third pod
Third?
small, at least
Did I
on
miss
Jet's side. For our tracker, yeah.
Yeah, well, our trackers are better at paying attention to those things. And that's why we have them. That's why they're the MVPs.
Oh yeah, no, Lady Laura Lynn and Iker, I mean, veteran trackers have tracked many a match. Very, very capable guys. We trust them, as we said.
And we do have Jet though. Yeah, gonna do it. I mean, you don't want to come back for this, so it totally makes sense to do it now. He doesn't have that fire rod, so he's missing more stuff. I'm interested to see if Matt does it as well. This is one of those corners that people will often cut because it's slow and annoying.
Yeah, not only do you go through tile room, but you know, no mirror means that the fairy that he ended up working so hard for from Waterfall Fairy the second time, he unfortunately can't keep it. Yeah, but unfortunately, yeah, no mirror means that also Matt is going to probably, if he chooses to do Hera Basement, he's also going to have to death warp out. I don't think he got a fairy from Waterfall. I guess I didn't actually pay attention.
Poor Jet got the refill on the piece of heart.
Alright, so Jet's like, you know what,
I'm just gonna run out.
With Blue Mail especially, it is probably going to be faster. He's like, too bad no bug net. Can't basically recatch the fairy in this case. I wonder if Matt's gonna come up with the same fate. Unfortunately, I was not paying attention to if he actually had 3 heart pieces already. But yeah, so he hopefully will not have to basically worry about. Also like basically walk out of here as well.
Red shield. Okay. Not really that interesting.
Yeah. You know, we already of course fought blind in this case. Fire shield, you know, probably would have been
that's the most
useful there.
That's the most useful thing that fire shield does, is makes the blind fight a little bit easier. Looks like Jet is gonna go ahead and choose Spiral Cave over Spike Cave. This is always a choice. You have to do you can only do one. I mean, you can do both, but it's a little out of the way to do both. I like the choice of Spiral Cave. It's just much easier to get back to Spike Cave.
Yeah. Alright, Matt's down to half a heart. Is he gonna get the refill? Oh! Yes. Alright, you know what?
That's okay. There's another fairy in a bottle.
Alright, it looks like Matt, though, is actually gonna opt to take the Death Orb. He's gonna opt in this case. Meanwhile, Jet, his prize for Spiral Cave. You know what? 3rd time's the charm, because he got a 3rd bottle.
We got another fairy. And it looks like we're headed over to Eastern. Jet's staying even further away from Castle Tower, which, you know, he has all the chests are both in logic. Maybe he's just waiting for hopefully not to have to double dip it. It's probably going to be a required double dip. Obviously, if we find a Castle Tower small before we go in it, then he might go ahead and finish it up when he goes up there. Of course, without a bow, we'll see if he actually even goes into Eastern. No bow, no Eastern big key. It brings up the possibility of a triple dip Eastern. We go in here without either bow or big key, so we'll see if he does it. It is 4 items though, and they're all in logic because we have that lamp, and there's no small keys, no chest small keys in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, I mean, so given that we don't have a lot of like mobility items right now, right? Like we don't have Fluke, for example, and be able to get around. He kind of had to run all the way over here. I mean, it looks like at least running over to Zaha may not necessarily be like, you know, in his mind, like if I'm gonna already come over here, probably end up just doing the whole thing. Maybe we'll end up finding a mirror. Maybe he'll, you know, after he gets finished with Eastern Palace, he'll basically, you know, just run straight out and go, you know, right back into pod. No bow, unfortunately, though. Now also, I don't think, you know, we're also missing quite a number of, like, big keys as well. We don't have pod big, you know, you did mention we don't have Eastern big as well, so, you know, maybe he's willing to basically double dip this. And with 3 pod keys, you know, might actually be a worthwhile investment.
And we have a shovel. Oof.
We have a shovel, exactly what you want to see!
Always the thing you want to see. Oh my. And we'll see if Matt decides to also do the same choice of doing Spiral Cave instead of Spike Cave.
Yeah, I believe we also did pick up, according to, you know, our trackers again, we do see a blue King Samara. He does have a full magic bar, so he's going to be able to, you know, potentially do this. Looks like he is going to, just like Jet,
also doing Spiral. Yeah, again, it's just, if you don't do Spiral here, it's so much worse to try and come back here. It's so much more out of the way. I mean, Spike Cave, just save and quit to the mountain, and you have to walk up. And it's a little annoying, but definitely easier to get back to if you want to do it later, or do it sooner. Ideally, you would do it later when you do like Dark Death Mountain. That's the hope when you do it this way.
Yeah, but you know, but right now though, you know, where's our mirror? Where are our mitts? Where's our flutes? Right, we're still missing some pretty big pieces here.
Well, we're down to one more item. We're down to one more item in Eastern. We have the second chest in Castle Tower. We have the Aegina item, which neither one of our runners have done. That.
Oh right, that's right.
Off last locations.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
we haven't seen any of the eastern part of the Dark World, like Pod or Pyramid Legend, and Catfish, the other locations that no one wants.
That's right.
Particular Catfish.
Oh. Yeah. Well, actually, with that book, maybe Aegina is a little bit more appealing, just because we can at least get into the front of desert.
Go into desert.
Big key. Yeah, no.
We could do a few checks in desert. I guess we could do 2 checks in desert.
Yeah, looks like
another pod small key.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe that's incentive enough for Jeff. Yeah, for Jet in order to basically go into pod. Matt, though, coming straight back to do spike key. Let's see what we got.
Wah, wah. Just a single arrow.
That's quite the insult.
It's not what you want.
Yeah.
Now, 4 pod small keys is enough to full clear the dungeon. Obviously, we can't quite full clear the dungeon without a bow. It does require both hammer jumping and never opening the middle door. I would expect Jet to go ahead and open, that front door. I would expect Jet to open that front door and expect him to just either leave Big Key Chest or Harmless Hellway to be checked later.
Yeah.
Because none of those things are in logic until you have all 6. Plus, without a bow, he'd have to mimic clip a bunch of times to keep going around and do all the checks, and that's just painful.
Right. And out of all the bottles we ended up picking up, none of them had a potion. They all just had fairies.
Yeah, so he has to actual mimic clip. He can't do the potion unlock.
Yeah, and I think at this point, Jet has basically released every single fairy that he's actually picked up, so it's just basically not going to happen at this point.
Oh, hello, Ice Rod. That's not a terrible spot for the Ice Rod. I fully expect Jet to get that. Unless Mirror is really, really late and Flute is really, really late, because a lot of runners will try and do this check with Flute or with Flute plus Mire area access and just mirror to it later.
Yeah, well, because of course in chat putting out that yes, you can also do potion camera unlock, fairy camera unlock in this case. But in this case, Jet has released every single one of his friends, unfortunately.
Oh hey, a small key.
A small key to pod and pod, of course, why not?
Well, and that's honestly, that is literally the best place that could happen, because now he knows he has 5, he can just do it.
Yeah, that's right. We don't have to necessarily worry about hesitation. The front door. Yeah, we can get everything
because
outside
I mean,
that's the key locked.
At this point, Key Sandy, it's not hard required to. Ooh, nice sword for Matt. It's not hard required to be able to hammer jump, but boy, is it useful.
Yeah, and that tempered sword from Desert right side. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Desert
big
has
items.
A ton of goods. Yeah.
Of course, that's
tempered sword.
Yeah, the tempered sword and the swamp small.
The
swamp small.
So Jet picked up the other pod small key in the middle of the
key. The hammer jump if he doesn't want to. But yeah, that swamp small not gonna do us any good until we have a mirror. But honestly, I'd rather have the swamp small first.
Yes, and that was in fact 2 pod keys.
2 pod small keys in pod right away.
At this point, I am just expecting the big key and the bow just to be inside pod. So when by the time Jet's finished, he's actually going to be fully clearable everything at this point.
Okay, we got that all important 3rd small key to Turtle Rock on the Desert Torch. So
ooh, okay.
That allows us, once we have access, which we're missing several things before we can actually go into Turtle Rock. But once we do have those things, we'll be able to finish the dungeon. Actually, at this point, it's the big key and the mitts that would give us access there.
I was gonna say, so we are of course still missing mitts. We have not found a single medallion. We know that we're gonna need at least one, of course. It's all dungeons. We can't avoid the requirement. Yeah, Jet. All right, a little bit ahead of Matt in this case. Finding the mirror in Pod Dark Maze. Well, if he finds another fairy, he could in this case hang on to it. But that mirror is gonna at least make the rest of pod routing a nice.
I didn't see if Jet did this. Matt talked to Saraswal and found out that our green pendant is Swamp Palace. So that's gonna be it's an extra item for Swamp Palace, and we have everything. Well, we still don't have the big key, but the big key to Swamp not gonna stop you from going there. It'll be interesting to see if once Matt gets that mirror, if he goes over to Swamp Palace.
Yeah. All right. Looks like actually confirmation from Iker that Jet did not talk to Saha, so he does not have in this case a green pendant knowledge.
Now he might just do Swamp anyway. I mean, why not? You have everything you need for it.
Yeah.
Except the big key, but that's just one check.
Yes. Yeah, assuming Jet goes to Desert first, he is going to at least get the Swamp Small, and then he's going to be able to go. Matt,
right. Yeah, he needs that. Yeah, Desert or Castle Tower would be the play for Jet. Let's see which one he chooses.
He's going to shoot Shovel.
Shovel first. No. Do the Shovel first. Get that over with.
Yeah, it was actually quite nice timing. Matt just picked up the Shovel on his side from Eastern Palace, the very first chest, Cannonball chest, and Jet, meanwhile, is going to check out exactly what the Shovel holds for us. Small key 2.
Oh, Ice Palace.
Oh.
Ice Palace.
Yeah.
Ice Palace. You actually don't need Ice Palace small keys at all. Now. It's good to have one. It's really good to have one for that first card.
Yeah, that's right. Just like my player, the first key is always really good, and then the value of diminishing returns basically very drastically diminishes at that point.
Okay, and we are going to see. It looks like we're in the dark world. Well, he's got the mirror. Oh, he can do the book check. So this might be a Bombos tablet into the desert area. I don't know that I see him. Well, and he can also K45, so we're gonna do that first.
Yeah, this is actually pretty efficient in this case for Jet, right? With the mirror, it's gonna basically combine, the Desert Palace area and kind of like the South Dark World-ish place.
Oh yeah, and also chat rightly pointing out Jet never did the right side of Pod. I don't know if he. Oh, Mitz.
Hello, Mitz. Okay, so it looks like we did have to go into Pod. Probably most likely in this case a double dip because Mitz from here was just locked by the mirror, which we had to go get.
Yeah, that big key could be behind those Mitz, and suddenly Jet has a whole bunch more things he can do.
Yep. Alright, yeah, but this also does include the rest of the mountain, of course. Dark Death Mountain's all there. With the mirror, of course, makes things a little bit more efficient as well. We have Ice Palace entry, I believe. Oh no, I don't know. So Jet, unfortunately, he needs still the Fire Rod, but Matt, with the Fire Rod from the first test of Castle Tower, he is going to be able to go in once he gets the bits. Matt, I think, forgot that he has a fairy, unfortunately.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, man. Oh, of course, Jack has the bug net, so any fairies that he releases, he can catch straight back. In case that he tries to Death Warp without that mirror, for whatever reason, needs to run back, and he can just see the fairy that he released earlier.
And I expect that Matt's not saving quitting, so he's gonna head into Pod, and he'll get his mirror. We'll see if he decides to do a Mimic Clip. Jet did not. Either isn't comfortable with the strat or just doesn't feel like taking the time for it. I mean, it's fine because when he comes back into the dungeon later, he can just go to the right side and go straight to the back to finish off the dungeon.
Yeah,
Jet's in Desert.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think the Matt would be inclined to Mimic Clip. That being said, I'm actually not sure how confident he is in there, so I guess I would not necessarily expect him to see him also doing the right side of Pod, or the Bullock side.
Oh yeah, and now we're at that point.
We're
at that point where they're tracing each other's footsteps. Jet's gonna get his Tempered Sword and his Swamp Small. He'll be very happy he didn't dip the first chest of Swamp, because that was an option.
Oh, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that was definitely not an option for Matt because he did not, in this case, have the mirror when he was over there. But Jet, yeah, he definitely absolutely had that option.
It's that Turtle Rock small key, and Matt can have fun with small keys here, getting the.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, he's gonna have 5, so he's not gonna skip the big key chest.
Yeah, that's right, and he's gonna be pleasantly surprised to get that key right back.
Yep.
Alright, looks like Jet at least confirming for us that we did find, it looks like actually map the Thieves' Town, which of course at this point is absolutely useless to us because, we already, both runners are already, basically that was their first clearable crystal dungeon. Not only that, we ended up talking to the bomb shop guy, found out that Thieves' Town and Ice Palace are 5/6 crystals.
And there's Jet's Tempered Sword. Yeah, it might be a while before Jet gets back to that Fire Rod over at Castle Tower. I hope for his sake he finds the second key. That maybe that'll force him back there.
Yeah, and I mean, so we know that at least like from from Matt's side, right after we ended up picking the mitts, Ice Palace is open. And Jet can still find like Bombo's medallion in order to get through Ice Palace, but of course, Matt, with the fire rod is going to be certainly a little bit faster.
Yep.
Clearing through the dungeon.
Also, Turtle Rock is going to look better for Matt with that fire rod than it's going to look for Jet.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Hopefully Jet's not going to go in there looking for the fire rod. That should be quite painful.
We are going to get the swamp play, which makes a lot of sense, and that tempered sword also super useful. Makes the Argus fight so much better.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of runners basically consider tempered sword basically as comfortable as you're gonna get, right? Basically right in their comfort level. Ever try fighter sword Argus? It is they're both very capable.
It's an experience.
It's certainly not something I think that they would prefer to do at this point.
And some people will just use the hammer instead of all they have as a fighter sword. So.
Yeah. All right. That was
first
really
chest
nice
is pretty useless because it was a compass, I believe, to Pod, and
yes,
and
it was
basically done. I guess when he walks back in, he'll know that he's got 3 items left.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And another compass.
Okay, so this is
at least that compass is to a dungeon that he hasn't done any of.
Yeah.
So keep track of his Meyer items.
All right. So do we think we're gonna find 3 compasses here in Swamp after already finding 2?
We'll see if Swamp lives up to the always a sword in a swamp billing, because that's often a thing.
Yeah, we would also potentially like a bow at some point.
A bow would be really nice. Yeah. I mean, in terms of items, bow, flute, and whatever medallions are the items we need. Now, we're still missing quite a few big keys. Eastern, Desert, Pod, technically Swamp
like
and
all
Skull
of
Woods,
them.
but they'll show up and be very happy. We need the Meyer big key. Yeah, so a lot of big keys we're missing.
Yeah, and and as part of course, all dungeons key sanity, as you said. So if the ice rod isn't necessarily your only, ice rod, there are a lot of some of these big keys actually could be, disguised pretty well as your second or third or fourth ice rod. Desert Palace big key, certainly, is one of those outstanding ones. Pod big key, surprisingly, is also one of those. So hopefully they're gonna show up at some point. And you certainly don't want to, have a chain where it's like, I'm gonna go get the Skullwoods big key into a swamp big key. No. We're not gonna think about scenarios like that.
Okay, so we're getting some real divergence here. Matt looks like he may be gonna go ahead and at least do Dark Death Mountain. Wants to get that big key. Oh yeah, there's a big key up here. Yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah. So
gets this big keys, it's there, and then you can follow this up by doing the Dark Death Mountain play.
I was actually wondering if Matt was gonna try to.
Oh, it's a big one. It's a desert one. Yeah.
All right. He's out. Yeah. One speculation, of course. With the fire rod, with the ice rod. With mitts, with with the mirror, hammer, everything. Right. We can do all Dark Death Mountain. No medallion means we actually have 0 entry into Turtle Rock. Didn't know if Matt wanted to scout it, but Desert Palace big key means we got another dungeon.
I think staying in doing the Dark Death Mountain play first makes a lot of sense, but it also makes a lot of sense to go ahead and finish off Desert right now, and never have to worry about coming back here.
Yeah, and I wonder in this case maybe Matt was trying to hedge. He remembers there's a big key, right?
Want Swamp first though.
Yeah. So maybe this is hedging his bets, right? Because if it happens to be a swamp big that we didn't know about, right? This is gonna be. He's definitely not have to isolate anything.
Chad also rightly pointing out that.
You're right.
Matt hasn't gotten the mitts yet.
Thank you for that wonderful reminder. You're right, mitts for key 45. Which he has not
one
done
runner
yet.
gets the mitts means they both get the mitts. No, it doesn't work that way.
Oh man, yeah. All right, so looks like these Jet made some. Looks like he is basically one full left side plus front of Swamp ahead of Matt. Basically just got here a little bit sooner. Nothing looks like a value on left side Swamp.
Yeah, I mean, in Key Sanity, it makes more sense to just do it. Somewhat conditionally as well.
Yeah.
But in, because it can't be your dungeon items. It can be dungeon items, but it's not going to be, you don't have the risk of it being map compass or, big key to compass and then a map or something silly like that.
Yeah, yeah, and we're missing like 10 items at least, right?
Yeah, we're missing a lot of items.
Yeah.
I mean, it is unusual to see runners wait on Swamp just so they have an easier decision on whether to go to the left side or not. But it's also it's a lot of items, like 10 items. So doing it right away when you can also makes a lot of sense. Of course, it's not 10 items. Actually, no, it is 10 items if you count the green pendant. We don't have the big key, so we're not gonna be able to get that item.
Yeah, thanks to that really awesome compass that we ended up picking up somewhere along the way to Swamp Palace, everybody, including us, can count along.
Yeah. Yeah, counting's hard in this game.
Yes. Yeah, the item counters basically for the dungeon for these trackers are super useful, especially in key scanning modes like this.
Okay, let's see if Matt. Looks like Matt also gonna do right side, so no one's gonna. Sorry, left side. No one's gonna save or lose time over this. They're both gonna do it.
Yeah, Jet did a pretty nice diver down in this case, and he is looks like he's just gonna do the usual like hook and pull and slash from Argus. And then no fire rod. Maybe it's gonna be ice rod phase 2, or it's just gonna be 2 simple spins. Also very fair.
Big key 2.
2?
Eastern! So that's an important one. Oh, and that's actually, that's kind of nice because you could go turn in that green pendant on your way to Eastern Palace later on. Ideally, you don't want to go back there until you have a bow because, like I said, as soon as you go into Eastern without bow or big key, you're risking the triple dip Eastern Palace.
Yeah, and also, it would be kind of nice to get a pod big key. I don't know, right, I mean, again, this is going to be some amount of risk analysis, right? How much are you willing to have before you go back over there? Yep. Right.
So Jet already has that hookshot out. May just go straight to the Dark Death Mountain. He does have a mirror, so he can finish off by grabbing that big key at the end. Knows he likely can't get into Turtle Rock, although, there's 6 more items here. He could find the medallion for Turtle Rock on his way there. It certainly has been known to happen.
Yeah, and of course, this is potentially one of those times, though, where that fire rod that Matt ended up getting pretty early from the first chest of Castle Tower, if Jet can get into Turtle Rock, right, he's gonna basically leave the roller room behind, which is 2 checks. Of course, this is all, not a worry if you can't actually get in, but still, this is probably one of the first times where it's actually potentially can make a difference.
Yeah, he is gonna open it from this side. Won't be, obviously, still has no medallion at the moment, so he's not gonna be able to open it right away. He does have the mirror if he wants to come back in here.
Yeah. Alright, Matt, meanwhile, making his way through Swamp Palace. I think both he and Jet took a very similar routing in Swamp Palace, being doing left side first and then going back to Compass. I believe it's actually slightly faster to do it that way, so you can get a nice, cool, clean dash up top. And Matt's gonna make his gets the back. And then basically just get whatever, whatever other items as a checklist off.
Wow, hookshot cave so far
nothing.
Okay, I mean gold sword is nice.
Okay.
I won't turn down a gold sword, but yeah, it's definitely not the progression item that Jet was looking for.
Yeah, a bow, silvers also would be good. What else are we missing? A medallion. Of course, he would really love to see a fire rod. We know that, of course, is also not here. A flute would also be, pretty swell in this case.
We got a big key to pod. Hey, look, we got a pod big key, and there's our bow, so we can go do pod and Eastern all at the same time. So that works out really well.
Yeah, so if Matt ends up doing the same thing as Jet, basically going up the mountain to basically check out, what else is there, he is going to basically get, get the Eastern Palace big key off of Argus, green pendant, and then we also did see on Jet's side, pod big key, and a bow. So basically going to be able to finish off the rest of the pod Eastern area.
Pretty nice haul. Now, Matt still needs to go get his mitts before he can do any of this.
That is true. Yes, that was a very excellent reminder from everybody.
The good news is, I don't see him going straight back to Eastern with just that big key. I mean, it is possible that the other bow's sitting there in the vanilla in the Eastern big chest, but that's definitely not something I'd want to bet on. So. And Jet gonna pick up the single arrow. Looks like Matt's gonna get his mitts right now, so that's gonna work out well for him.
Yeah, it looks like no Bobo's tablet check, at least temporarily. Maybe he's gonna do it later. Also it was a really nice point out, of course. Matt, very experienced. He's been grinding his way to the 124 NMG, so certainly high expectations and rightly justified for his Argus way.
Okay, Jet gonna go into Dark World. This might be... I wonder if he's gonna do the Pyramid Ledge and maybe Castle Tower at the same time. If you're gonna go to... I mean, otherwise... Although I suppose it doesn't really matter if you don't have a flute where you enter the Dark World. I'm not convinced it's necessarily faster to run all the way over to the portal over here. So, you know, so he just decided to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll clear this area, and we'll never come back again.
Yeah. All right. So we do actually see some murmurings here in chat, and along with our tracker, did notice that Jet did not pick up the key to desert on Spec Rock. Yes.
That's I gotta believe that's a mistake. Surely he saw that earlier. Oh, big key for green pendant. Big key to.
Oh no!
Oh, that is game.
Awful.
No.
Alright, that's probably not gonna get checked
for a long time.
Yeah,
if there's something there, we're not seeing it for a while.
Yeah.
We know Matt's gonna go and do smiths. Gonna do hammer pegs and then turn the smith in. This isn't too bad because we do have mirror.
Yeah, looks like he is going to end up, at least just basically clear this plate out. Does not actually look like he is powder, so maybe he will be willing at least to kind of isolate that check.
Yeah, I want to say that the only fetch quest we've seen was that shovel. We did get a quick map check. I saw Crystal and Mire. That's all I saw.
Alright, I did see a red pendant on Turtle Rock, and I think we already knew about the 5-6 Crystal in Ice Palace.
I'm just gonna go ahead and check this big chest, and then mirror on out. Oh, blue boomerang.
Yeah.
And Smiths are making a cape.
Both of them. Okay, so the other cape is very nice, of course, for safety. But of course, we'd already see that both runners did check Bumper Ledge. It's not going to be a concern. Yep, Matt, of course. Knowing that he doesn't have to do anything else in the Dark World before he ends up basically talking to the locksmith right by Bombell's tablet, he basically just run over.
Yeah, it's going to work out really well for him. And then I could definitely see him just, you know, taking that Bombos check and then going straight over to Desert from there.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually really nice and efficient routing, basically, from that side. Alright, Jet, of course, is going to get us a couple more checks here on the bow lock side. No, again, logical access because we did it in picking that bow. Okay, it's money. Unfortunately, that red Bari, man, basically just knocked Jet's bomb straight out.
I roll castle small key, so logically, you know, required for those items in the basement and Zelda cell, but we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, no, that is definitely not worth our time. Alright, Chat, of course, demonstrating that the Kingdom Maria is also very handy in pod. Don't have to do any of the slow, like, statue drag or anything like that. Oh, that's a nice full magic refill. Not necessarily needed because we're just gonna go straight to the boss where we actually don't need magic. Yeah, but unfortunately, yeah, so no flute in this case means that we still can't backdoor, so Matt, unfortunately, in order to clear out Desert Palace, is going to have to basically go through Desert the front door in a little bit slower way. If Jet does remember to go get the big key off of Spec Rock, which is our Desert Palace big key, and he gets the flute before then, he potentially actually can save a little bit of time by backdooring this, and to basically go to the back of Desert.
I mean, I expect... actually, I don't know when you go back to that area and when you see that. You're gonna see it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, right, and he's already done Spike Cave, he's already done Ether Tablet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, the chances of him going back, and his full cleared Hera, man, it's gonna be...
it really depends on whether he remembers. Oh gosh, another big key. It's an important big key. It's a Misery Mire big key.
Yep. Alright. So certainly still nothing. We can't do anything with that key until we get the flute, of course. But yeah, that is certainly one of those nice big keys to be able to see.
Okay, so what all are we missing at this point? Bombos, flute, and whatever the Mire medallion is between the two runners. I think that's all we're missing at this point. I think we have all the necessary keys. Of course, you know, the game could give us throw us for a loop and put something dumb in say the lava chests in Turtle Rock, in which case we would need that 4th TR small. We hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but
same thing with Big Chest and Ice Palace. You know, you hope there's nothing
Big
there.
Chest and Ice Palace. Yeah, and of course we're just gonna hopefully put the big chest of Swamp Palace out of our minds because we had to claim it from the
doesn't
green
exist.
pendant, and yeah, we
doesn't exist. gonna see Jet finish up Eastern while Matt finishes up Desert.
Yeah, so unfortunately, yeah, so probably after this, maybe Matt will decide to go up the mountain. He does, of course, have Ice Palace also open to him as well. But, you know, without basically like a bow, or a pod big key for that matter, which we both saw was on Dark Death Mountain, may not be the most appealing option. Alright, really nice Fire Rod land mode from that. Of course, no bow means we can't get a more traditional energy, but of course with a Fire Rod, this is going to be a ton faster.
Okay, Eastern Big Chest has a piece of heart.
Alright.
Pretty boring.
Nothing of value. Yep. So we can basically go straight to the back and basically clear out another crystal dungeon on Jet's side. Yeah, this late flute though has certainly made at least overworld travel, you know, a lot more saving and quitting. Probably requires our runners to just be a little bit more conscious of how they, you know, how much basically they have to run.
And of course, one thing I'm seeing in chat, and I was just thinking about that, we do have one other item. One small key we still need is that darn second Castle Tower small key. Hopefully that shows itself on path somewhere.
It would be
because
really
I think
great
that's the only thing left that can be in Ganon's Tower. No, I guess Bombos could technically be there, depending on what the Meyer medallion is. The flute cannot be there. We did see Meyer as a crystal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so that does not allow for the medallion for Meyer to be in GT.
Yeah, we did see confirmation on Jet's side that Pod, of course, was our other pendant. So we have Pod, Swamp, and Turtle Rock are our three pendants. So you're right, flute cannot be in GT.
Okay, we're gonna see Ice Palace from Matt. Full clearable for him.
Unfortunately, it looks like, also according to our awesome trackers, no ice big key. So of course, you know, with Icebreaker, we're definitely going to be
almost
able
full
to,
clearable.
you know, claim it. But yeah,
almost full clearable.
These are, you know, this big key. You know, it's just so common that, you know, if you can basically, you know, clear out Cold Stare with Icebreaker, or Ice Palace Bomb Jump, you know, you're just gonna not worry about the big key or the big chest.
Yeah, those I like to call them the fetch quest keys, the fetch quest big keys. Ice Palace is one of them. Swamp is another. Skullwoods, and of course Hera sometimes, depending on where Hookshot is. And then you get the fetch quest small keys, the Hera small key, and the potentially the Thieves Town small.
Yeah. Well, at least that one, thankfully, basically came up, you know, sooner. We only get like green rupee out of it too, so definitely not going to be worth our time. Looks like Jet though might be doing a pyramid catfish check.
I think we're gonna finally see Castle Tower.
Yeah,
he's gonna get his
yeah,
fire rod there.
Alright, Matt though, meanwhile, Ice broke his way basically through the back of Ice Palace. Yeah, man, look at that gold source power, right? Matt had to, you know, sit there, wait, and
I gotta
spin and
say,
stuff.
Gold Sword in Castle Tower is pretty darn nice.
Alright, Jet has claimed his Fire Rod, so again, nothing, it hasn't really, I would say, like, necessarily hurt him. I think the only thing he probably couldn't do at the time was just the back of Skullwoods. Other than that, no major difference. Just 10 arrows.
Yeah, nothing great in the second chest, so no new advantage for Jet picking up those 10 arrows. I don't think Matt's ever gonna get those. I mean, no, I don't think he's ever gonna get those, because unless Castle Tower small key is late enough that there's a reason for him to just bet on that, which can happen if we go to GT through GT and still need it, which can and does happen. We're hoping we don't have that happen. That's not fun for anyone.
Alright, looks like though Jet with that Fire Rod in hand, you know, so he does have the back of, he does have the back of Skullwoods available to him. He does actually have a mirror and the book, so he can check pedestal if he's over there. But yeah, Fire Rod, probably more importantly on his mind, is that is my entry into Ice Palace. Let's go.
There's a lot more items. There's only 2 more items left in Skullwoods for him. This one is going to be the full 8 items, so.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if he, you know, he knows he's gonna have to come up with a flute at some. Maybe he's just waiting for a flute for a little bit nicer travel. In this case, don't necessarily run all the way to the village. He could just do the flute there, basically combine into one trip.
Okay, Matt, on the cold stare fight.
Yeah, Tempered Sword, I certainly have high expectations for this fight. I ended up getting hit, recovered very, very nicely. I'm going to take Cold Stare down.
It's a heart container for his trouble, though.
Yeah, I would say, Jet's heart, or at least health, actually has been just, continuously like 2 or 3 ahead of Matt. I would say that, Matt's, he's not necessarily a low percent, but he's on, medium percent, in terms of, health. Certainly faring very well here.
Also, do want to point out, I believe Matt did it before him. Jet doing it now. Because there's no big key, you have to hit that switch before you go into Ice Palace here and do the icebreaker. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to get to the back. So important that they both remember to do that.
Yes, it is certainly not the first time that we've actually seen a runner, I would say, either miscalculate or just kind of like, just misremember that, did I actually hit the big key, the switch? And yeah, it's not exactly a feels good moment at that point. Ooh,
okay.
Matt, okay, yeah. So he definitely remembered because he of course, you can talk to the bomb shop guy. We do have Ephesus crystals, Eastern Thieves' Den, and Ice Palace. So he is probably going to, in this case, do his Pyramid Fairy, and then also do a Pyramid check.
See if he also goes back into Castle Tower. I would expect him not
that's
to.
A good point.
It's kind of a long check for just the one item. But we'll see. I mean, it could be an important, to his mind, it could be an important item.
Yeah, and I guess, so he does have potentially mountain access at this point. He could go check Catfish, but again, it's not exactly an appealing check at this point. It is still pretty far away.
Yeah, ideally he wants to get at least some sort of medallion, so it'd be more likely that he'd be able to do Turtle Rock if he went up there. And we get a compass. And a small key to Ganon's Tower. Okay, well, not exactly overwhelmed there. And a bee in a bottle. So yeah, that was a... I mean, you need some Ganon's Tower small keys to do Ganon's Tower. If you have to search for things, you need more Ganon's Tower small keys. But ideally, you just need one. If you get to go mode Ganon's Tower, you just need one, because you can get the one from the mini Helma. Actually, you don't even need one, because you can steal the pot key if you want to.
Yeah, I mean,
so the first one saves you time.
Yeah, no, the dream, of course, in any of the keys is you can just go mode GT. You don't just search for any of the basement. You can basically just have a peace of mind. Looks like, though, well, Matt is going to check the second chest of Castle Tower. Certainly, he thinks it's going to be worth the investment. We unfortunately know from Jet's side that it was just 10 arrows, which, he already has 30, so can't even carry anymore. Yeah.
No. He's mirroring out instead of saving and quitting. That says maybe he does some of the north checks like Catfish and/or Graveyard Ledge.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We have Catfish, we have Graveyard Ledge, we have King's yeah, all these really great checks. All right. Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Jet's gonna drop down into Cold Stare, so he's also got his full magic bar.
Yeah, it looks like he farmed a little. Yeah, it looks like he farmed a little extra magic for this. You do need to use that entire magic bar when you don't have half magic with that fire rod, so. Good to be well aware of that.
Yeah, you were saying something about
Cold Stare.
Yeah, you were saying something about Gold Sword being really nice to have in Castle Tower. God. What about Cold Stare?
Oh yeah, Cold Stare and Trinex are give me a Gold Sword for Cold Stare and Trinex. Forget Ganon. Where you really want it.
Yeah. No spins required. Jet basically just slash Cold Stare to death with his extremely powerful weapons.
Okay, King's Tomb with nothing, just some more arrows.
Okay.
Now we'll see some Graveyard Ledge over here.
Yeah, so where is Jet off to now? Oh, this might be Skull Woods for him?
Looks like he's going to do King's Tomb without doing it just from the light world, so he won't be able to also do Graveyard Ledge. So if there's something here... Oh, and there is something here, and it's an important item. So Jet like completely going to orphan this location. And that's actually... for Jet's sake, I'm really hoping now that Misery Mire is Bombos, because he could, if he doesn't come back to that item, Turtle Rock being a pendant dungeon, he could think that it's in GT. And then the difference between a Go-Mo GT to not Go-Mo GT is extremely significant.
Yeah, it is multiple minutes at that point. But yeah, so at least I'm hoping that maybe if Jet decides to go check Catfish, it could still be along the way as close as he's gonna get, basically, you know, for Graveyard Ledge.
Well, he's going to the Dark World right now, so maybe he's gonna head there right now. Or no, right now he's gonna do Skullwoods. So maybe he does Graveyard Ledge after Skullwoods. It makes sense to do Skullwoods first. It's a full clearable crystal dungeon. Oh wait, not full clear. We still don't have a big key. And that big key can just stay in whatever hole it's in forever and ever for all everyone concerned here. Just a compass, and Matt doesn't even want it. So Catfish,
man, not even finding out which compass, which dungeon's a compass to.
But now Matt's gonna do it. Yeah, he'll do his Dark Death Mountain. He's gonna have that Bombos for Turtle Rock, and at this point, I see no reason not to go and mostly clear it. We're missing that last TR small, so we'll skip Lava Chest, but otherwise, I fully.
Matt looks like he's a little bit too eager in order to cross that bridge.
Doesn't it feel like you should be able to just jump that bridge? Because most of the time when you fall off a cliff or whatever, it's falling, it's not jumping. But for whatever reason, when you go off there, you jump off. Which is, by the way, why you can't just do a normal hover there.
Yeah, but of course, so Matt actually hasn't been up here yet, so he doesn't actually know that Turtle Rock Medallion is Bombos. You know, we know that from watching Jet's side, so at this point he is going to be pleasantly surprised. Oh man, as soon as he gets out of these dead rocks that are just
dead rocks are
bullying him. Alright, meanwhile, Jet has made his way back to Mothula. So Gold Sword is unfortunately not going to be, as nice, for Mothula as it was for, like, Cold Stare at Castle Tower.
I mean, it's the same as Temper.
Damage. Yeah. Wow.
Thankfully, it does do damage, since in the vanilla game, it does not, because Gold Sword and Spike damage do the same, and the game developer said, well, we can't have Moth taking damage to spikes. So we'll just, since Spikes and Gold Sword do the same damage, we'll just not allow Gold Sword to hurt him. Woe be to the person that got all the items out of all the dungeons and then went back to kill the bosses.
Yeah. Now, I will say that Matt, while he did have a very excellent, in this case, Master Sword fight, right, for Mothula, you still can just basically tell the difference, right, between a Master Sword fight,
for sure,
and Hammer, and, in this case, Gold Sword, basically Temper Sword.
And Pet is nothing, so, we got our Pet check.
So we'll have to come back here.
And sadly, Jet's not going back into the Dark World, unless he chooses to go back in the Dark World through the portal instead of the mirror portal that you left behind.
Yeah, looks like that's what he's doing.
I think may actually be a little bit faster. So if he does that, he might still get over to that Graveyard Ledge and be able to go and do Turtle Rock. Oh yeah, Matt hasn't gotten that bow. He just gets that bow now. So yeah, I still expect him to go into Turtle Rock after he does these checks.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're up here. I mean, another mountain trip is like another minute or so. Like, I mean, he could try and maybe find that Castle Tower, Turtle Rock small key, the fourth one. But I mean, no. You're basically just coming in.
You're here. You just do it.
Yeah.
And Jet gonna start the Smith chain.
Yeah, North Dark World, looking less and less likely.
I mean, you can drag the purple chest to Graveyard Ledge. People have done it successfully. It's also very easy to screw that up. So if he does choose to do that, I hope he doesn't. Or he may just he may just not be doing it right now. I mean, he's gonna run out of stuff anyways. He's gonna have to get there at some point, but he's got other things to do. He still has that Desert Big Key. So that's also a thing.
Needs to go back there. Yeah. I mean, I will say though, like the Jet's already kind of done like the South Dark World stuff, like with all the mirror stuff, all the mirror checks and stuff. So it could still be likely that he, goes up because he doesn't have anything else to do. I guess,
Okay, let's see what he does now. He's gonna grab this purple chest. We'll see which way he takes it. He could just save and quit. He doesn't, since
you're right.
For him, the going into he's already done Bombo's Tablet and the going into Desert, but he is gonna leave it and run. Which, honestly, I don't know which is faster. If you're not planning on staying in the Dark World, whether you're running like this or saving and quitting. Ideally, you flute, but we don't have that flute yet.
Yeah, we unfortunately don't have the flutes.
Okay, so far I don't believe we've seen much in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything else either.
If Turtle Rock's anything like Pod, we're gonna find a small key in here. That would be absolutely wild.
I think it would be very funny if the lava chest actually has your 4th tier small key.
I mean, if that's the case, we're never finding out.
Yeah, that is true. Yes.
I always find it weird that all these, you got the 4 keys locking the lava chest, you've got 6 keys locking if you think the big key chest and the Harmless Hellway and Pod, but the exception is if those chests have the small key for that dungeon.
That's right.
That makes things confusing.
Oh, all right. So this is interesting routing here from Jet. So he did stay in the Dark World. Looks like he's gonna do Big Bomb. Maybe after Pyramid Fairy, he goes further north to do Graveyard Ledge and Catfish.
Yeah, I mean, if he does Graveyard Ledge first, he could skip Catfish, and Catfish has nothing.
This is actually very interesting routing. It's certainly not necessarily one I expected, but I mean, this is gonna work out very well for him if he continues.
Okay, and Matt successfully did not open the key to the lava chest, which is always the scary part.
Probably one of the biggest congratulatory pats on the back, like good job. I did not royally screw up my game.
I mean, you may laugh if you haven't done it, but we've all done it.
It is such a bad feeling.
It's terrible. And the cave has a piece of heart.
Nice and vanilla.
We keep going.
Yep.
Jet gets his B. And yeah, he's continuing on. Is he going to go to Catfish? Is he going to go to Graveyard Lodge? Is he going to do both? Oh, there's another big key.
Oh no!
Okay, well, so 3 big chests don't exist. We have 3 big chests that just don't exist.
Yeah, well, for the good news, of course, for both Matt and Jet is that they both done Ice Palace, right? So if anything's there, it's going to have the same fate for both of them. And Jet, unfortunately, looks like he is going to Catfish that Graveyard Ledge check.
I mean, with Catfish being nothing, I gotta believe he goes on to Graveyard Ledge. If Catfish was something to distract him, that would be much worse.
Yeah. It's just that normally if you want to do like Graveyard Ledge and Catfish together, you probably see what Matt ended up doing. Was go to Graveyard Ledge, first. Maybe he was more incentivized to do that, because he had King's Tomb as well to check. But looks like the Jet's running out, so this he's going to be Graveyard Ledge. Yeah. This is very, very good for him.
He just needs to remember that there's a big key sitting on Spectacle Rock.
It's one of those very, very important big keys. This one you can't actually skip out on.
Nope, can't skip out on that one.
Alright, so we're gonna take full advantage of our mirror shield here on Laser Bridge. You see Matt's even walking and taking the lasers, man. Okay, talk about...
And getting compasses.
I was gonna talk about Swamp Palace being Compass Palace.
Oh
Laser
my
Bridge
god,
actually
Compass Bridge.
Yeah. Jet's getting bullied here by the bee. Alright, so this is gonna be good news. He's gonna Bombos. Most likely with Bombos, he's gonna just take it straight up the mountain, just like what Matt did.
Okay, we got a Bombos. Yay!
Yes.
And hopefully this reminds him that there's that big key sitting on Spectacle Rock.
That's
true. Because he's right. This is the time to pick it up. If he had just forgotten, it's one of those things where it's entirely possible that just got distracted. Was meant to do it after the Dark Death Mountain stuff, and then just got distracted from it. But unfortunately, going the hookshot direction, I'm a little surprised he doesn't. I mean, he could do it after Turtle Rock.
I was thinking that. I'm trying to actually think. So according to our trackers, which big keys is he missing? Assuming he does remember that there is a big key there. So he does not have the big key to Mire, it looks like. And he's also missing Desert.
I want to say the Mire one was in Desert. So he needs that Desert big key to get to the Mire big key.
Right.
Still need a flute.
More big keys. Big keys begets more big keys. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Matt, having picked up Bow and Eastern and Pod big keys and all that, at this point, needs a flute and potentially a medallion for Mire. And of course that terrible Castle Tower small key. So Matt getting pretty close to a go mode, but this Castle Tower small key, like an Ice Rod and a normal seed, can be a great equalizer if we end up on a Castle Tower small key hunt.
Yeah, and of course, no flute means that we still, as we said, we were hoping that we only need bombos. We, of course, don't know what we need for Meyer quite yet because we still haven't had access to it in order to be able to take a peek. Very well could also be medallion, could be just as lucrative or just as difficult to find in this case as another Castle Towers.
Yeah, the only difference is that medallion will not be in Ganon's tower. Castle Tower small. Yep, 215 locations for that Castle Tower small.
Yeah.
The only place it can't be is Lumberjack. And Matt gonna get his swamp big key.
Yeah, he's gonna be so thrilled. He's gonna want
to return that. Return to sender.
Yeah. So let's say what we've seen. We've seen Ice Palace big key on that side, right? In Turtle Rock. We've seen Swamp Palace big key. I guess we haven't seen Skullwood's big key yet. Not that he really wants to go back there either.
Yeah, all the fetch quest big keys, except for Hera, all the other fetch quest big keys are either out there or late. Neither of which is good.
Yeah.
And at the moment, we're gonna see Jet go through TR. We're gonna see Matt do Pod Eastern. We're gonna be a little while before we get new checks, unfortunately.
Yeah, and and of course, at least, well, okay, from our perspective, we can actually, maybe do some like pondering as to, what else like potentially are left between our two runners that we haven't ended up checking. We've already listed out some pretty nasty big key locations, or big chest locations.
We might be checking those as much as no one wants to do them, but we're probably going to see those big chests. I would do Swamp first, just because it was the one that.
Oh, I guess like the further along.
Logically, you need the Ice Palace big key to finish Ice Palace. So that might be the only reason why we've gotten the Ice Palace big key. Whereas the Swamp big key, even if Swamp is a crystal dungeon, that Swamp big key can be in GT. It just can be wherever. So, and it can even lock itself because it only is needed to open that chest.
Right.
So it just feels like there's a little bit more progression. They're both about equally bad to get to because the Ice Palace one's a little bit further into the dungeon, whereas the Swamp one involves having to drain the dam and mirror and all that extra stuff. So they're both pretty bad in that sense.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how much, does it more weigh on your mind? Does it feel more tedious to do all the swamp stuff at the very beginning, as opposed to, you actually, go into Ice Palace,
do
Ice Break, yeah. Rock in a hard place, is all I can say. Alright, looks like the Jet, very, of course, rightfully so, also did the exact same accomplishment. Please give him, a pat on the back for not opening the door to the lava chest.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot left on the table. I feel like those two big chests. We can see Matt's tracker, map tracker on our feed, and I'm seeing Pod Eastern and Swamp and Ice as Swamp, green. Yep. Everything else is red or gray or yellow.
Yeah.
Red being you can't get to it, yellow being you can see it and it can tease you, and of course, gray being you've already checked it, and
we've already checked it.
Yep. Green is we can go there and find out.
Yeah. All right, Jet picking up his. Oh, that's right, his big key to Ice Palace as well.
Yep.
So, oh my gosh.
Now Jet, on the other hand, still needs to remember to pick up the desert big key so he can have all the things.
Yes, that big key right now is pretty important because, as we did see earlier on that side, the Desert Palace big chest did have the Meyer big key. Again, can't use it quite yet because we don't have flutes, but obviously it is certainly a requisite big key in order to finish the game.
It looks like Matt, when Jet did this, he did the big chest before going back in, before killing Helma. Matt's gonna go do it the other way. They're pretty equal. I don't think it makes a difference, honestly, without a mirror. With a mirror, just which one do you want to do first? So we're gonna see Matt get. I don't even remember what was here. I don't recall it being anything useful. So
it was a blue boomerang.
I mean, there are people that really like the blue boomerang and prefer it over the red. So I mean, it's not completely useless, but definitely not what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, Matt being some, he does a lot of NMG, maybe he'll feel better with it, in Castle Tower, versus the red one. I mean, but it's so minor at this point. Meanwhile, though, Jet also using that mirror shield and King of Smart to knock out that beetle. Certainly very nice to basically not have any interference.
And now Jet can have all the compasses too.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, but I've already been to all these places.
Now, one interesting point about the way the maps and compasses work, they are required to be available before you can actually beat the dungeons. I think that was put in because players got tired of finding a bunch of maps and compasses in GTA at the end of a key sanity.
Oh, really? Alright, Matt, back in Eastern Palace trying to, this case, do a little bit of quick strat with the bow. Unfortunately, doesn't quite get
everyone messes up those strats every once in a while.
Yeah. Okay, so Jet is taking on Trinix with the gold sword. Unfortunately, it looks like some of the hits looks like just didn't end up landing. Unfortunately,
yeah, I think that little bit of ice sliver messed up his last sword swing there on the firehead side, so he had to do an extra. Sorry, on the ice head side, I had to do an extra fire up shot. But with gold sword, 3 more swings and you're done. So.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't. So Matt only had tempered sword to his name, so it's just probably very, very slightly just in terms of a fewer, more slashes from Matt's side, but really tempered sword versus red sword isn't going to be too big a difference. Unlike like Mocula or like Cold Stare, right? I think Matt basically was a 2 sword difference at that point. Oh no, Jet! Oh no. Alright, so save and quit means that we're still, not gonna get that Desert Palace big key quite yet. Hopefully he does remember. Unfortunately, either Jet doesn't, display a map tracker on his screen, or on his stream, or something, hopefully.
He may not use one. I don't know if he uses one or not. Not everybody does. No, it is not displayed for us, so we can't see if he's marked that off as not needed.
Alright, so it looks like though Jet, you know what, he is, taking the first ventures of our, these super bad locations we're gonna check first.
Pick the big chest.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like though, so he's gonna show you Swamp Palace, maybe he'll go to Ice Palace after this. Matt, where are you going, sir?
Yeah, this could be a pet check, because I'm not sure what else he has over here.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Matt does have the fortune of all 3 pendants cleared.
Oh, he can just pull
going to get?
We could blind pull it. It is a little bit fast. It's faster to pull it if it's something good, and it's faster to check it if it's not.
Yeah.
It's always the thing you're weighing in your mind when you're making this decision.
That's right. All right. So for his sake, I certainly hope that he does well. Okay. So sorry. For time's sake, I hope that he reads. But for his
Chat'll love to have the blind.
Oh man, it should be. I'm also hoping for the blindfold as well.
Yeah, here we go.
Good job, Matt. I'm very, very proud of you for this.
At the same time, Jet finds a flute in Swamp Palace Big Chest, which is, I mean, it'll get him the things that are, but he's not gonna be able to do everything. We might see he might even just go into Misery Mire looking for those big keys that he's missing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would not be good. Yes. Is Jet taking the? I guess he's just running back. Yeah. Looks like he's
just running. I mean, I don't know if this is faster or not, but I mean, it's save and quit versus running here.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be a huge difference.
Yeah. It looks like though Matt is actually making also the, in this case, the correct decision, because in this case the flute is in Swamp Palace Big Chest.
I mean, to be fair, the correct decision could be both. We don't know what's in the Ice Palace Big Chest, but yeah, I mean, I said why I like the swamp play. I like it because, again, the Ice Palace Big Key could just be there to get through Ice Palace, whereas the Swamp Palace Big Key only needs to show up if there's something there. I mean, it could show up even if there's nothing there, but just, a little bit more conspicuous.
Yeah. Yeah,
and we're
going
to, straight to Mire for Jet. No surprise.
Yeah, no, this is I mean, it's also, we're gonna get some nice knowledge check, of course, in our case, is we're gonna see if we need another medallion, or it is in fact gonna be buffos.
It is Quake. We do need another medallion, so add Quake to our list of go mode items.
So maybe it'll just be here, we got Checkerboard Cave, we got Mire Shed, that Jet's gonna check right now for us. And there it is!
There it is! And another GT Small. Yeah, I mean, it's good news, bad news. For Jet, this is actually kind of bad because he's gonna, he'll go in, he's not gonna have his big key. He's got 6 locations he can check in here. Matt,
yeah,
I mean, Matt may not get to go mode this either because we're still looking for Castle Tower Small. So there's that. But he's also he's not gonna have to double dip it, and that's pretty important.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, so like the fact that Matt, the fact that Quake basically was in Meyer's shed, right? It's gonna grant Matt immediate access, and yeah, as you just said, I think the biggest time difference between Matt and Jet in this case is probably gonna be the double dip, because Matt, after clearing out, even there's nothing here in Meyer, right? He's going to basically go to the back, and kill out Vitreous, whereas Jet is not going to be able to.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm actually going to... I don't like to talk about leads too much, but Matt has a bit of a lead here. He's already done Desert. He's going to be able to full clear Mire. Now, the Castle Tower Small Key is a great equalizer and could be such in this seed, but at this point, once Matt gets that Quake, he's going to be down to that Castle Tower Small Key, I believe, for go mode. So, yeah, it puts him in a really nice position. Silvers are nice. Gold Sword Silver's overpowered Ganon fight.
Oh yeah.
So overpowered Vinny fight.
Ganon's not gonna be too bad of a. Oh yeah, that's right. For Vitreous, also gonna be really nice too. Of course, yeah. Late bow also means that we. Well, of course, 30 arrows means that we've got basically plenty to spare at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. All after everything that's said and done, Castle Tower's small key go mode. Oh, what a surprise!
Yeah, what a surprise. And that's the thing that's right now is keeping Jet in this game. It's gonna sound really funny, but Jet wants that castle. If Jet knew the situation, he would want that Castle Tower Small Key to be in the worst place possible, and for him to get it first somehow.
Yeah.
And for Matt to check everything else before getting it.
Yeah.
And it's possible that could happen if the Castle Tower Small Key is not in Ganon's tower. Then there's a really good chance that Jet's gonna get it before he goes back and gets that Spectacle Rock Big Key to do Desert and then get the Mire Big Key. Whereas Matt probably finishes full clear of this dungeon, probably goes into GT, having done all the dungeons, and will full clear GT looking for that Castle Tower Small. So
yeah, I mean, and like Castle Tower Small Key could be like Big Chest of Ice Palace, right?
It sure could.
Yeah,
and if Jet's still looking for stuff, he's gonna do that location before. If he has completely forgotten that big key on Spectacle Rock. He probably does that location after he's done in here.
Yeah, and honestly, like after Matt's all said and done with Meyer, right? And Desert, you have the option basically going to to go into GT. I mean,
yep.
Well,
I mean, I think it's
GT versus like a big chest of ice, right? Or like big chest of swamp, or skull.
And so far, nothing in Meyer. Oh, there's a small key to Turtle Rock. Oh, there's another dumb spot that Castle Tower Small Key could be sitting.
Thank you, game. But Jet does need to be a little bit careful. So the entire game is basically just fairies and bees, and I think at this point he has released like every single thing that he has.
He's out after this check though, so he's fine.
Okay, all right.
He just needs to get to Checkerboard Cave before a Murderdactyl hits him or something.
That's right.
Okay, and one last check before Jet gets. I'm trying to think. I think all he has is now the big key chest in Turtle Rock and the big chest in. Yeah, it's not here. So.
Did Matt not do the spike chest?
I think Matt is just gonna go to the end and then come back in.
Okay.
Oh no, Castle Tower for Matt and Big Chest. We did not see.
Oh my gosh, dude! Oh, thank you, trackers and chat.
Yeah, that's why we have them.
Okay. Holy cow! I was there's no way he would have checked it easy fast track. Yeah. Well, okay. There's no reason to.
Well, the other thing is, you don't usually see in AD keys going straight for the big chest. There's no reason you can't. It's not a bad play. It's actually a pretty good play. In this case, a really good play.
Yeah,
but the standard routing in Key Sandy is you do the left side first. But we're only looking for one item, so it made a lot of sense for Matt to do some of the quicker checks first, and maybe save cutscene for last. Especially since I don't think he had. Oh no, I was about to say maybe he doesn't have the 3 small keys to actually put it in logic, but no, he's got all 3. So it was still a logical play. Also, Matt, why are you doing sword spins when you have silver arrows?
He's got energy ingrained in him. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't have actually that many arrows. He says he only has 6 of them.
That's
in this case, like 8 of them.
That's why. Although he doesn't need that many at this point, and there are some arrow pots on the GT climb.
Oh, but this, I mean, I think, well, okay, so we're like hour 35, right? When basically Matt, or hour 30 something, right? When he got his second Castle Tower speed, this is actually ridiculously fast. 80 keys on Matt's side. I mean, it's really certainly going to be pretty fast, obviously, on Jet's side as well. Assuming.
Yeah, Jet would be right, honestly, yeah, Jet would be right there with him if he had remembered to pick up that big key sitting on Spectacle Rock.
Yeah.
Also, to note, there's nothing that Matt needs at this point, so I don't expect to see him checking anything on the Ganon's Tower climb. At this point, the only luxury item left to him would be powder. I suppose if it showed up in, say, the mini helmet room, you could use it to get his health back, but I don't expect to see that. The nice thing,
probably good enough.
Yeah, the nice thing about one of the nice things about 80 keys, if you can manage to do Agate Tower after you do Ganon's Tower, you're gonna get that free refill for magic and for health anyway. So you don't have to be. I mean, you still have to have enough health to do Agate 2. People talk about Ganon falls and Ganon deaths causing lead change and stuff, but honestly, the thing that would change a lead would be a death at the top of Ganon's Tower, which you don't see very often, but it can happen.
Yes,
but you know, you don't need nearly the amount of health because you're gonna get that refill after you're done. So as long as you have enough health to get through Agate 2, and I expect he will, you're gonna get a refill. So it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, and I don't understand this, Agate 2, the only boss in the game that doesn't give you a refill. Why? I don't understand. Like, everything else gives you a refill, but no, you're about to fight Ganon. We're not going to give you a refill this time.
I guess there's some extra difficulty in this case, but yeah. All right. So is this Jet's?
This is Jet checking Lava Chest.
Oh.
Because if he was going for Spectral Rock, he'd be going the other direction.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
We're gonna see what happens after he checks it. I think at this point this is a full-on forgot. I mean, if an item is such that you don't know what it is, like say you accidentally skipped an item in a dungeon or whatever, it's perfectly reasonable to say, okay, I'm just gonna hope it's nothing and just never go back there. But you know there's a big key sitting up there, and what you are missing are big keys. So it doesn't really hold for this situation for Jet. So he's gonna go and do Lava Chest. We get to find out what's there, which yay. But,
maybe, you know, I guess what else could be there? It could be powder, could be
I mean, there's nothing that could catch him up at this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately, so we know from Matt's side that the big key that's sitting on top of Spectral Rock is, of course, the Desert Palace big key, and we did see that the Mire big key is in Desert Palace big chest, the big key is...
key to key to key, because then the big key, the Mire, Castle Tower small and Mire big chest, that's right. Castle Tower Small was actually in Mire Big Chest as well. Oh yeah, we need
in addition to
Desert Big Key, Mire Big Key for the Castle Tower Small. It's pretty obnoxious.
Yeah, though meanwhile though, I mean, I think all things considered, on Matt's side, he has played the seat. I mean, routing wise, he's done actually like very, very well.
Yeah,
you know,
honestly, both runners have done a very good job routing. It's just Jet decided to. I mean, it happens. You know, we've all forgotten a location, and you know, it always feels like that you only miss the good item when you forget the location. But in reality, that was Ether. in reality, we all skip locations and never realize it because, you know, you find out, like, I know I've had my chat say, oh no, you skipped a location, but it, you know, clearly was nothing. You still finished the game. So it happens more often than you think. It's just that you only notice it when it's the item that you're missing, when you need the item that you skipped.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's floating away, so he's just completely forgotten that Spectacle Rock big key even exists. Assuming he ever saw it, you know.
I mean, he must have. I mean, I must think that he has seen it, just because, you know, he did Spike Cave, right? He did Ether Tablet. He was like up there multiple times.
He was up there, yeah. He was up there.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so you're saying he saw it on the screen. It doesn't necessarily mean that Jet saw it, but I mean, odds are he did. He had the ability to have seen it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
honestly,
now
like,
I've checked everything. What do I do now?
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and honestly, it could also just been like you know, like, okay, I'm gonna do Hera, I'm gonna do you know, Ether Tablet, I'm gonna do all these things. He just like checks off everything like in that area, right? Of course, I'm gonna go get all of this stuff, and then, you know, in the process of you doing 10 checks, you know, you only ended up actually doing 9 of them, and but you thought that you did all 10. Yeah, I mean, this definitely happens. Jet looks like he's gonna go back to well, I don't know if he's gonna pull.
He I guess he read this.
Yeah, he must.
But I mean, at this point, he's not trusting anything because he knows he's stooped something.
Yeah, he forgot. Yeah, he definitely forgot something. Alright, meanwhile, though, looks like Matt actually has already made his way to, you know, Aghanim 2. He looks like he has plenty of health, so not too worried, at least hopefully, you know, for his sake, in order to at least die up here.
That's a nasty pattern,
and
that blue ball just completely wrecked him for getting anything on that.
It's, well, okay, so his Aghanim cycles haven't really been the greatest so far.
Oh, would have got a triple, except Aghanim is a little bit desynced and disappeared before it hit there, but he finishes off with a double, so it's all good.
Yeah, definitely looks really nice. Yeah,
Jet, you know, check. Yeah, he's lost at this point. Does not know what he's forgotten. And I know this feeling. This is not a good feeling. Everybody that's ever played any kind of randomizer knows this feeling, and it is not fun. In the meantime, Matt is going to drop into Ganon's tower. You know, the sad part is, you know, because that divergence happened pretty darn... Oh, no, he's not going to drop. He's going to do Aga Tower first. But anyway, because that divergence happened relatively early, it's impossible to say how this race goes if Jet does go ahead and pick up that big key. We just don't know. Sometimes when things like this happen... you can kind of, you know, get comfort in the fact that maybe you weren't gonna win anyway. In this one, it's a big unknown. We don't know what would have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Jet's route was pretty good. It wasn't quite, you know, there were little minor divergences, but in general, overall, it was a good route. Other than the one mistake.
Yeah.
You know, Matt's gonna make very quick work of Aga Tower because he's got a gold sword, he's got silvers, he's got fire swords
up here. No half magic to be seen. I mean, probably somewhere buried in GT, you know, but we're basically not gonna, you know, we're not gonna find out.
Yeah, I mean, with silver arrows, you don't really need it. It's, I mean, half magic would be nice. I think we're on blue mail, that'd be nice, but other than that, you know. I mean, the difference between blue and red is pretty insignificant, whereas, you know, the difference in green and blue is much more significant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Jet is certainly still really just trying to think back to what he I mean, and again, like, you know, he's really trying, and right now, like, if you haven't seen the dot done from the race room, you
keep going.
Trying.
Yeah, I don't like, you know, I don't expect him to finish this out once he sees Matt's finished. But yeah, I mean, if you don't give up beforehand, because you never know what can happen, because it doesn't happen often, but the thing that would feel worse would be if you forfeited and turned out you could have won.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that compass proving handy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, very useful. This is why I think
compasses. Yeah, compasses are useful. I'm telling you, I like compasses. Yeah. They do good things.
I will say, I'm not sure if Matt necessarily wants this reminder on stream, but there was actually a Swiss round match when he and his opponent both forgot the Meyer Big Chest after picking up the Meyer Big Key in Meyer. That was a pretty bad feeling. You know, but I mean, both runners ended up, you know, eventually figuring it out. But I mean, again, this is kind of like one of those situations, right, where you forget something exists, you forget you do it, you basically have to keep playing because you really don't know. Jack doesn't know what's going on Matt's side, right?
No,
for all he knows, like something. Yeah, exactly. Like Matt could have just forgotten something and also beat the game.
Okay, yeah, and unfortunately no compass for Eastern Palace, so he did actually go in there for a little bit. He did leave before double checking everything there, so maybe he's footing to one. This might be the epiphany.
Okay, this it. Do you have a fire? He's just quick swapping for fun. Oh, maybe he needs to take shots. This
yeah,
looks
he's
very
going.
Good
Yep,
Jet.
this looks like he's gonna finally get it.
Okay, Jet has
he's definitely
this time
seen it now.
actually verified, yes, that we have a big key on Spectacle Rock. At this point, he's probably thinking it's gonna be a Meyer big key or a Desert Palace big key. Not sure if there's gonna be anything else available.
I mean, I think Skull Woods is the only other one, and that would just be awful. And there he gets his Desert big key. He is gonna be able to flute over to 6 and mirror. Meanwhile, Matt's gonna go finish.
Yeah, and you know, this is also really nice routing. You just, and unfortunately, after Aga 2, you don't get the refill, but if you can somehow magically, in 80 keys, do Aga 1 last,
you get that nice refill.
You get that really nice refill. Yeah, at least on the good news for Jet's side though is that Matt did have to take the front way to Desert twice in order to clear out Desert Palace. Jet at least does get to be able to back north, saving him a little time. Of course, at this point it's probably not going to be enough unless something catastrophic happens to Matt. But at least there's a little bit of solace. Gold Sword, of course, doesn't make too much of a difference compared to Temper Sword. You are able to get the 1-1. Gold Sword, of course, makes it, a ton easier.
Yeah, Gold Sword makes it so people like me can do game faster. People like Matt, no, they could do a 1-1.
Yeah. Matt and Jet, I think, are very capable of doing anything basically on Temper Sword at this point.
Yep.
Alright, just going through the motions here, Silver Arrows, Fire Rod, Matt, is just, 3 more arrows into Ganon, and then we can finish
and he gets
this
a triple.
sub 150.
There it is.
Yeah, alright. Very, very well executed, very well routed on Matt's side. Get your GGs out in chat for Matt. Finishing is going to be very close to 147 at this point. Very, very fast seed. GGs, Matt.
Yep.
Taking game 1, basically off of Jet.
Yeah, finishing up with an official race time of 1:47.06. So GG's to Matt. Jet is not done. This is a best of 3. And the next one, I have it on good authority that it's going to not have the starting boots. So
That's
we'll
right.
see if we'll see how that changes things.
All right, Matt is officially declared the winner. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, the Triforce say it all. Say it all.
I mean, I will say this. I mean, so anything that's really sub 2 hours and 80 keys is just, it's remarkably fast. You're going for sub 2 hour in cross keys. 80 keys is probably no different. Looks like we are joined by tonight's victor, Matt. GG's.
Hello, GG's. How's it going?
How's it
pretty
going,
good.
sir?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
We had a nice, fun race to watch. I saw that Jet already told you his mishap.
Yes. Yeah, that was. I almost forgot about that. I was halfway to swamp before I was like, oh, I should grab that key. But either way, there was no way you were not gonna either last location or second last location that flute. So that was kind of a garbage location.
Yeah, you had the choice between the swamp. Big chest and the ice big chest. You want to talk about why? I mean, I know why I would choose swamp over ice, but I talked about that. But why don't you talk about why you chose it?
I think it's a pretty obvious choice because you could have had the ice big potentially before going to ice. You could not have the swamp big before going to swamp because it was on Hogsla. So
because seed is dumb.
Yeah, we definitely saw that.
Yeah, so there's no real choice there, even though it would be real hard to have the ice big before going into ice, because normally I wouldn't have done all that stuff like the Pyramid Fairy out of logic and Pyramid and Graveyard Ledge, but I just didn't have a medallion, so I didn't want to go up the mountain. So that was kind of the impetus behind that.
Absolutely.
Right, looks like we are also joined by Jet, who I believe has, recused himself from this race. GG's, Jet?
Yeah, GG's.
GG.
This is where I'm sure you're very happy, and we're all very happy that this is best of 3.
Yeah.
So you get a shot.
I don't know.
Also very happy.
With
also very happy
start?
you did eventually find it.
I did. Well, I'm sure you guys were curious what was in the Turtle Rock lava chest and the Ice Palace big chest.
Yep. Yeah, if Castle Tower Small had been one of those locations, then things could have gotten interesting. But no, I don't know if you know yet, but your Castle Tower Small is sitting in the Misery Mire big chest.
Oh, is it really? I was actually curious. I was going to ask about that because that's my go mode, and I don't know. If Matt didn't finish, maybe I would have just like beelined it to GT, so I would have missed it anyway. But I had no hope. Like when you're last locationing and then forget a location, there's like no way you're gonna win.
Yep. I mean, it's such a rough situation. We've all been there. It sucks. I mean, all you can do is just say, you know what, got another game to play, and just do the next one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I believe also we had a little bit of an earlier recon. So game 2 is your choice in this case?
Yeah, I did default. Nothing fancy.
Yeah, so no starting boots.
No boots.
Wait, no boots?
I mean, I did appreciate. No, well, hopefully boots, but eventually, but not to start with.
But you did get. I mean, you had an early sword. Yeah, the early sword was nice because I know for some people one of the reasons they don't like starting boots in a mode like this is because you don't have that sword to start with.
Right.
And you got the sword almost immediately, so that was certainly a nice addition.
I had Master Sword within 3 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the swords came pretty quickly. Although, Jet, you had a bit of a sword advantage in the sense that since you got Fire Rod later, you got to do Moth with a gold sword instead of the Master Sword that Matt had.
Yeah, when I dropped into Moth with 5 hearts, I was feeling just a tiny bit bad about leaving the heart container next to the swamp.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I noticed that heart container was sitting there when you went back into when you went into Swamp Palace later.
Yeah, it was okay though.
No, it was it's a very nice kill, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, your lower percentage, like Master Sword kills, were certainly very well executed. Jet, of course, was a little bit more fortunate to have a 2-sword advantage over you. I think Mothula Cold Stare was another one. Basically, just watched Jet slash his way through everything.
Fire Rod was one of those other things I end up putting off, which felt bad. Did you do Castle Tower like when we did the front of Escape? Like, did you?
Yes. Yeah. I had Master Sword, so I just got everything. I did Dark Cross and the first Castle Tower after I got the Moon Pearl.
Okay, so my problem was I killed everything in that room in the Dark Cross, so nothing could kill me. So I'm like, I guess I'm done. I'm not going to be able to do Castle Tower yet.
Yeah,
and of course, later on, I find out this Fire Rod. I'm like, oh, that hurts, because I know, I'm sure you had that early.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah, I had to kill myself with bombs, but I only had 3 hearts, and then I got hit a few times, so wasn't as bad.
I think you let go of every single bee and fairy. Like,
oh my god, you just
I forgot one. I got revived in Eastern Palace.
I have fairies so bad, and I'm like, no. Before I had Mirror, no, get out of here.
Yeah, lots of fairies in this seed. Fairy refill, 2 fairy bottles. And then finally, when you had a mirror and you could stick your bottle in the fountain, this time you just get to a bee. Which, thanks, game. But yeah, some interesting chains. We talked about the big ones, of course, the green pendant for Swamp Key for Flute. That's just disgusting.
Yeah, and Mirror was kind of weird too, right? Like I had 2 pod keys in pods. So you had that choice early.
The pod keys.
That's right.
The pod keys.
Like I had a choice of, like I had just gotten that book, and I was like, do I just do like the 5 items at Desert, or do I go to Pod Eastern without bow or mirror or either of the big keys? So that was kind of a garbage choice, right?
Yeah, those pod keys were quite funny though, because like, you get the 5th one, and you're like, okay, well, now I can full clear with a hammer jump, and then you just run into the last one in the big key chest.
You got to see us open. I don't know if Matt did it, but I got to open a door I never do in Key Sanity, so that's nice until you get mirrored, and you're like, it doesn't matter either way. But before mirror, that's the route.
Yeah, that's right, because Yeah, how often do you have 6 pod smalls in your first time into pod?
Yeah.
And I mean, you only need 2 to get to the big chest and the dark maze if you want to do it with the hammer jump. So.
Yeah, true.
Actually, you don't even need 2 if you go in the right side. We didn't have both, so that was while an option is definitely not the option I expect anyone's going to do, and to mimic clip just to get to the back like that. But, in general, yeah.
Yeah, I actually thought about mimic clipping because I was kind of regretting not getting a bottle, but I'm playing with a brand new controller, so I was like, I don't know if I really want to do it for the first time right now, so I'm gonna bail.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise though, I mean, just in terms of like dungeon dips, or routing, like overworld, looks actually very efficient. So certainly, congratulations. Like, I think you played the seed really well.
Thanks. Yeah, I've had a nice streak in this tournament of having no required items in GT, so hopefully that continues.
Yeah,
80 keys is way better.
So now I know how to win. A required item has to be in GT. Got it.
Yeah. Call Sinak.
I'm telling you, if it'd been, that Castle Tower key had been one of those spots that you end up going to, we could have had it, get Matt to do a full clear GT. What you want is Matt to have to full clear GT, but you get the item elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real key,
Yeah. Any other final thoughts from you guys before we kind of like wrap things up?
No, just thanks for the stream, the commentary, and Jet, good luck tomorrow night.
Yeah, thanks all, and good luck. See you tomorrow.
All right, good luck to both of you, and thank you.
Yeah, definitely good luck. Yeah, and yeah, thank you so much for letting I guess us restream you guys. It was actually, I mean, from my perspective, I think it's actually very, very interesting, exciting race to watch. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Very, very strong execution.
I mean, not decided honestly until the Castle Tower small key showed up. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we good for me to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Awesome. So thank you to both matt7898 and Jet082 for the awesome race. Thank you to Clear Mouse and Tracy M for commentating, and thank you to Lady Laura Linda and Iker for tracking. That's going to do it for ZSR tonight. We're going to go raid ZSR 3 in just a moment as they're finishing up their Zelda 2 randomizer match. Tomorrow at 11:59 a.m. Eastern Time, we have a Zelda 2 randomizer Max Rando tournament match between Victor Santa Fe and Sinus. And at 8 p.m. tomorrow, we have Game 2 between Matt7898 and Jet082 at 8 p.m. Eastern. So tune in for that. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Hope you had a wonderful time and have a fantastic rest of your night.